Audience, we're back. Yes, we're back. Ms Marlena Turner and myself, Ms Roshumba, on Let's Talk and Grow with Ms Roshumba. And we're keeping it real. We're telling the stories that need to be told. We're sharing our heartfelt experiences. We are not on the mainstream TV, but we are still doing a heartfelt delivery because, in our world that we live, the ones that get the megaphones are the ones that get the mega billion of dollars. I don't know why money translates into wisdom. I don't know why our society glorifies the rich rather than the wise.
Right.
And so there's a lot of things that we must pause on and ask the question why. I don't profess to know everything, but I know that my life right now is a very good time, that the lessons over the seasons that I've gotten has brought me here, and for the most part I feel a oneness, not just with myself and the universe, but with my fellow human being. And so that's why I feel like it's okay that I could tell you and share with you some truths. And if you find it to be your truths too, then thumbs up, subscribe, and share. This is the last segment of 3 that we will be going through. And I'm speaking to the gem today, the diamond, Ms Marlena Turner, that found time to spend with me and share her wisdom, her experience. Because we live in a world that the Black woman after childhood, she gets thrown away. It's like we get forgotten. Society says, we have no value. And so as I see you from time to time at the 2251 Florin Road in Sacramento, the African Marketplace, also known as Florin Square, that's where we're at, people. We're here in one of their special rooms.
Beautiful room.
Beautiful room. You see the art piece?
Art's just wonderful.
And if you need space here to bring what you have to the community, you take time to come here and meet Mr. Thomas Donaldson. He will show you around, and maybe you too can have a place that you could be of support to yourself and the community. But I'm going to speak to my sister furthermore and, just tell you that there are times in our life that we're faced with challenges. And the challenges that we have sometimes weigh us down, but, this is oftentimes how we really get that crown that puts us in that element of wisdom. I want to ask you, what would you say one of the most challenges that you faced in your life that has pushed you to rise to a higher spiritual self? Because I do know no one escapes this world without a challenge. And I always say that is usually the catalyst for growth. So tell me, what...
The challenges, I said, started when, I guess, my mother passed.
Yeah.
And I realized that I had to raise my father.
Yes.
And a little brother. I got past that.
And you were a teenager?
No, honey, I was 5 when my mother passed.
Okay.
And like I said, my father came home with PTSD. So he was drinking and carrying on. I knew something wasn't right with him. And my little brother was like 2 or 3. And I took that on my shoulder, so I knew what it was to be not even knowing a mother and a maternal person that I was.
So, but your grandmother and your aunts were also
we had a family that was consisted of the household of my dad, my mom, my brother. and then they were nearby, but they also came in and out.
Okay.
So when my mom died, they intercepted.
Yes.
But then there was still my brother and my father.
Okay.
Because that's why I said I took care of my father, been my father's right-hand person till the day he died at 92.
Okay.
Same thing with my brother. Wasn't a day go by that he didn't call. Even if he didn't get me on the phone, he'd leave a message.
Right.
Hey, I love you, that type of thing. So that, I got through that. Like I said, when my father died, that was really, really challenging to me. But also, going to work 18 was challenged there because I was met with my first experience, my cup full of racism.
Okay.
That's what
Okay.
I went through that, and I worked with this gentleman for like 8 years before I took notes, documented everything, starting with, hey, come here, gonna go take you to the jungle. All this, patting me on the head, strapping my bra. I took notes, got him fired. Racial discrimination, sexual harassment. That was a big challenge then, and it still remains today. The same things that I went through, young women are going through now.
Okay, so audience, I hope you hear clearly what she said about on-the-job racism.
Yes.
And going to work, to me, has always felt like going to the plantation.
Well, mine was so bad, like I said, I developed a panic disorder, anxiety that lasted almost, 50 years to last year. And I got off all of the medications, everything, and now doing it herbal, and I did not have to go into, detox or anything. That's how good God is.
Mm-hmm.
To get the right person that knows what to put into your life, the system, not pills, not dope, not the drugs, just pure, food, good, change your diet, and take the right vitamins.
And being aware of the origin of your discontent.
Yes.
Know what is causing your pain, your discontent, your mental dis-ease. Because she, like Ms. Marlena says, going to work for all those years, she was stressed. And I see a lot of my sisters at different age, it's enough that you're leaving your home and you're a single mom, or maybe you're in a toxic relationship.
Yes.
And you're going to work, and when you get there, the boss is set for you because they're not being watched. That's where they have you as their plaything. That's where they could use their ego to determine if they still have that position of power, and you become their pawn. So, what would you say to the women that are still, and men too, don't get me wrong, I keep saying just women because I'm a woman, but we know Black men have the same issues in the workforce, going to work.
Well, see, nowadays, since the U2 program, Me Too and whatever, they're more aware of this. Back then, it was arbitrary. We could not do anything. So even though he got fired, that was no monetary, nothing. They just, I lived it, you Black, you can handle it. The way
Right.
nothing. So like I said, I wish that was something else we could do, because I suffered through that.
Yeah.
And when I was anxiety, and on medication. And like I said, I fought hard. Every time he said something, we disrespect, write it down, document it, and you have witnesses, let them sign it. Because and the challenge that I was going through was a retired military person, and he didn't know jack. I knew what dumb was before this man, everybody talking about this rich, they ain't so rich person.
Right.
Right here in society. So that we all go through that.
Right.
But you got to speak up,
Yes.
say something, and have it documented.
And we know in the 21st century, it's becoming a lot more easier for certain things to be told. But, a lot of what we're seeing is the ones that get that monetary, monetary prize have been those of our white sisters.
That's the white sisters.
Yeah.
That's it. It has not been the Black.
It has not been us,
And sometimes they can step out. Some of these ladies that are saying so-and-so did this and doing that. I said, well, how could he reach up and touch something? Back then in the 90s, We had pantyhose, girdles, and everything. That was part of corporate attire.
Yeah.
So if someone could do something like that, that's why it goes away. But sometimes they lie. You brush up against them and lie and say, well, he felt my boob. He got $10,000. That type of thing went on in my day.
Yes.
See, but yet I was doing all of the work, doing everything preparative, everything, loans, documents, everything, wires, any opening an account, all of this, and doing it in your name, but you getting paid, I'm getting diddly.
Sisters, does that sound familiar? Does that sound like right now you even train those to take over your job?
Yeah.
I can't say enough that if you don't understand yourself and your journey, then this is how disrespect really shows up. Is that you become a pawn for others to benefit from. So I do want to say that, not even I escaped that. I also did it, but you see, I'm a highly spiritual person. I wouldn't say highly religious. I say highly spiritual. So what I've done through my journey is I believe in truth. I believe truth will not leave me at the wayside. I believe that truth is our buckler. And if you utilize truth, then you will be supported. And even if it means sometimes you find yourself out of that job, but yet into something greater. So truth with faith, truth with belief, truth with right over wrong, truth with doing what is right.
That's right.
And speaking up is what's going to resolve a lot of what we see going on.
That's the truth.
It is the truth.
That's what I said. It is.
Whether you're at the job or in the home or on the street or in any kind of business. And I would also have to say, you always just have to be patient, because it's not like Bewitched where you twinkle your nose. Who knows Bewitched?
Yeah.
It's not like when you do that and it happens. It has its time and its moment when it's ready to, like a cobra.
Right.
And when it does, it's perfect. So have faith. Know that, you stand on the shoulders of great women, and if you're a man, great men that has overcome so much. You said your father was in the military.
Yes. Everywhere Patton went, my daddy went. He was part of that whole European tour. In fact, he was the lead driver of the Red Ball Express, that international transport system that Eisenhower started.
Okay.
That was Patton. That's
So
what they
was
did.
it in the Army, the Navy?
Army.
And how many years did he serve in the military?
What is it? 4?
4 years.
Came out as top sergeant. He came back home thinking he was still a private. Till he told me, I opened up one day, I said, Daddy, why didn't you tell me you was in World War II fighting with George Patton? He said, I thought you knew. I said, I didn't know till I overheard my uncle Clarence and them talking about what a big hero you were.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not. Yes, he was.
Yes. And
he was.
What she's saying about her father is true of many men all the way to, I would say, Vietnam. But the younger men, even the Iran and Iraq war, I should say, has not, the African American men has not really dedicated themselves as much to always, to join in the military like they did in the years prior.
No, they came after him. He was a 19, 18-year-old. He's letting his mama's oldest child. They came, got him, used him, did everything, even in the espionage units. He came back home. They set it up where the benefits were sent over to the states. That was a dereliction of duty.
So are you saying that your father didn't volunteer to go
after you get, what do you call it? When they
18, the draft?
Draft, we went, answered the draft, went, served his country. Yes, he did.
So he was drafted?
Yes.
So it's not like he said, oh, I want to be in the military.
No, they came after him, and like I said, he left his mama, went there, and like I said, the last thing he knew was, no, son. Yes, sir, Mr. Charlie. Okay, Mr. Charlie. So when he's getting discharged, they tell him, when you go home, don't tell anybody about anything that happened. Daddy took that literally. And that's why I said that was a dereliction of duty. Because that was the last white man that told him, don't say nothing, be quiet. He came home, he didn't say nothing, didn't open up till he was 82 years old.
And maybe by 82, it just came out naturally.
No.
What he probably didn't remember.
Took a black doctor.
Oh.
He opened the door and we walked in the office and he said, oh, Mr. Adams, you had to be in the military. Because my daddy had on, slacks. He never wore corduroy or denim, nothing like that. Always dressed like he's going to church or something.
Yes.
Always a gentleman.
Okay.
He walked in, he said, yeah, I was in the service. How'd you know? He said, the way you're dressed. From that day, Daddy opened up. Because he started telling me, he said, well, everywhere, Pat, I mean, from the Normandy, landing on Normandy, I didn't know that they had balloons where the black men were dropping on the enemy. I just thought it looked like Saving Private Ryan. We're coming up from that and all that flesh on the floor. I couldn't I couldn't get past that.
Wow.
So I said, my daddy had to see all that. So that's what he said, no, he was European tour. And I said, that all came out when I went to his appeal.
So what period in time was this? What was the years that your father...
1946 he got out. He was 1943, 1946. I was born in he got out in January 1946. I was born September the 30th, 1947.
Okay. So he went in the military before you were born?
Yes. I'm after.
Oh, so when he came home, that was
a present. Yes, my mama, she said, she was the sweetest, youngest thing I ever knew. I loved her so much. I said, yeah. He said, that's why I got you. I love you. That's why I said, our daddy always had me knew that I felt special. Like I said, it's just something just beautiful.
Audience, and especially the men out there, through the challenges of life, I want you always to know that a black female, your daughters really need you. They really need you, and they honor you as a father. And I'm sure your father came home, maybe not whole, but you didn't even know him as when he was old, because she was introduced to him after his military experience. Yes. But you end up being able to help fight that battle of where he's been. Even now, you're fighting for some clemency of something?
No, it's appeal. Like I said, he's been awarded. All I'm doing now is waiting for them to do whatever they do monetarily.
Yes.
Because I went all the way back to, PTSD, congestive heart failure, and his kidney from that self-medication. And I told him, I said, have you ever been shocked, scared? I said, feel your heart rate. And I did all of that, those three, and plus, I call him the JAG judge, who was overseeing everything that I did, because I didn't have a lawyer. I pursued it on my own. Yes. And I won. Yes. And then he came back. He said, with all this your dad been through in hypertension. I said, yeah. Wow. So I said, I'm pretty elated about that. That's the biggest accomplishment and the most proudest of, other than going to battle, getting him a certificate, thanking him for serving in the war. And it's signed by Barack Obama.
Look at that.
Yes, I'm so proud of that. Because Daddy died May the 9th, and that award letter came May the 10th. I said, look at that, Daddy, they ain't forgotten. Because he said, Barack. That's what he called Barack signed.
He was very proud
he was proud of Barack Obama. Honey, he loved
What black individual in this country was not worldwide, actually. Worldwide.
And honey, yes, he was. And you know who else? Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth, that's why I said every time I can do hello. They appreciated our black soldiers. Yeah. France and Britain. Yeah. Yes. I can say what you want to say, but I'll thank them for treating my daddy well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, you see, the war and having had to fight for this country. I've said this before, but, this country owes African American a whole lot.
Who you telling?
Because no other citizen in this country, other than the ones that brought us here against our will, could boast that the African man and of late women have fought in every war since the conception of this country.
Every one of them.
Every war.
Yes.
They have bled and died for this country. So I always want to bring that up.
It's the truth.
You know,
it's true.
because as we see our system and everything changing within the America, and that's part of why, you know, being an elder is more than just, you know, changing physically, but it's saying that you have an understanding of the history of this country as far as when you've been alive, at least.
Yes.
You could see things have evolved to where it is now. And so to see a lot of the men on the streets that are homeless, how many would you say are those men that are military men?
Of that age, I've seen a lot. And like I said, they're sitting back waiting until the military gonna get in touch with me. They're not gonna get in touch with me.
These are Vietnam vets mainly right now.
Vietnam right now. And like I said, and the Gulf War.
The Gulf War.
All of
okay,
it, all
Iraq.
the way down. Yes.
These are the ones we see on the streets now.
Yes, yes. And it's not because they're by choice, because they're denied their benefits. My father came here, he did not get a benefit, not even from the commissary. The military did not help him with his health care. Instead, he went to Vacaville. They billed him over $300 and some.
So he had to pay for his medical
I
care.
didn't pay for it. I sent it back to Vacaville and told him, I said, this is the military, you pay for it. I had to take over because he had been paying, yes.
So you see, audience, our children are valuable. Because, you know, if we give them the love and nurture them the way we should, they will continue to make sure, long after we're gone, that they clear any misconception of who we were and what our worth was. And this is what Ms. Marlena has done. And she has, at this point, she says she's won. So it's just a matter of time that the benefits of that show up. So thank you for sharing that, sharing your story on that with your father, because, you know, that's what it means to be an African American. Is, you know, your story is rooted in the soil.
And you're not going to find that in the history books. I went to college. I have not heard anything, read anything other than about these generals who that Red Ball Express cleared the way for. And after that, they went through on a patent with those tanks, those German tanks, that black unit, the Panthers.
Yes.
They won the war. They will tell you that privately, but I want to see it in writing in the history book that they're not trying to close up and not have us read.
So we're gonna have to tell the history, and that's part of what we're doing right here. We're telling the history. We're not gonna wait for the hunter to tell the history. The hunted version will be different. So we understand the versions will be different. So we will narrate our story. So I'm getting ready to wrap it up. Today, you know, I hope you enjoyed our conversation. I'm gonna have a few last couple of questions before we go to the closure. And, you know, what keeps you up at night?
Oh, what keeps me up, I can tell you in a heartbeat. This SNAP business, you know, food stamps.
Okay.
That not having a chip in those cards, that they put all of this money and effort into helping us, that Biden and Kamala Harris did.
Yes.
It's useless. People are losing money by the billions because we do not have a internet secured line to catch these criminals as they're skimming you.
So when you're saying when you go and use your card, when you go back, your card is emptied out?
Yes, empty. $1,416 was my skimmer. Yes.
And do they replace them?
No, not because it's done online and they have no way of tracing the IP address. That means who did it, how they did it, where they were, other than I asked for my copy. There was someone in Los Angeles, $498. Seattle, same day, $398. Somewhere, I think it was La Jolla, $298.
And this just happened when you go in to use your card at one place, all of a sudden.
No. I was going to Smart and Final just to go in. My total that day was like $24 and something. But someone had beat me to the punch. It was online inquiring, then loading, putting money on, taking it off, and then using it Amazon. Yes. And I took the pictures. I did all, and people out there right now, they're suffering. This human assistance plan over here off of 24th and Broadway, they have to put 2 supervisors on each schedule.
Well, I think because this is a new occurrence. How long has this
has
been
been going on for decades.
This kind of loss of money?
Yes.
And they have not.
They have not been able to replace it. Yes, no.
Well, I can see why that will keep you up at night.
Yes, and because you go over there and visit mamas with the babies over there crying.
Yeah.
People, that's what I'm saying. Yes,
Government.
And it's the black community is hurting.
You're wasting the money that you so-called are using to serve the people because it's going to scammers.
Yes.
And if you really cared, then you will do something about it. And this is an opportunity again for the wealthy in our community, the ones that have the megaphones, the ones that when they speak, they hear cha-ching, ching, ching. I would always ask, what do you do with so much money? Have you forgotten your beginnings when you were poor and your parents had hopes for you to make it big so that you will not forget them? But remember your neighbors. Remember those that didn't get through. You see, what I've heard them say, one of the wealthiest groups of people in the world of African descent are here in America. And the most educated are here too. Our education, takes us back to understanding history. Even in Africa is very religious. They're intelligent and educated too. Don't get me wrong. As a matter of fact, the largest population of Africans educated in America, or educated people in America, period, is Africans from Nigeria.
Oh, gosh.
Google me.
Google me.
So that really tells, or Google it.
Google me, I'm going to say,
Google it, but that's true. The brightest people come out of the continent of Africa, but I think it's how we are nurtured when we're young as to who benefits from that. So anyway, I'm coming back to you with the finish this sentence. If I knew I would be returning to this world in a reincarnated mode to complete my journey, what would I do differently and why?
I don't know what I would do differently because I had to have been trained first.
So if you had a chance to come back to this world and change something of your life and do it differently, what would it be?
I would change the fact that I lost my mother, and I would change the fact that I could keep my daddy. Other than that, I would keep my Aunt Sis, and I would always be a black-eyed Susie. That's what I would change. I would stay on that.
She would keep the fact that she had lost her mother, and you would do what with your father?
I'd keep my daddy just the way he was.
Okay, so that will change.
When he was in his cups, he was a happy man.
Yeah.
And I loved his laugh.
Yeah.
And like I said, I would stay the black-eyed Susie that Aunt Sis dubbed me as.
What's the black-eyed Susie?
The black-eyed Susie is a sunflower.
Okay.
It's at the big, dark, now it's changed eyes, the big, that's what the word is.
Okay.
The big little self in
Yes.
here, it was always black in
Okay.
Texas. So she called me the black-eyed Susie.
Oh.
So that's what I said. I was up to that till the day she died.
Wow.
So like I said, that would be that happy mode.
Yes.
When she say black-eyed Susie. The world could be raining, thundering, and storming, and I was scared of the thunder.
Yes.
But that would always bring me back out of my crying spell and get me into that little happy gingerbread
That's
mood.
right. And that was you were called a black-eyed Susie?
She said, come here, little
Your auntie said
black-eyed
that?
Susie. Yeah.
Oh.
That's from little to all the way up. So I guess I would continue to be a black-eyed Susie.
Now, that's beautiful. That's very beautiful. And did you look like your mom?
My daddy said I looked like my mom, and my aunt daddy always said, when the doctor slapped me on the boo-boo, he said,
Oh.
he said, I came out laughing. He said, so you've always been my happy child. So,
that.
and he said, I look just like her. So, like I said, back then I didn't have any pictures, but my uncles on uncle her side said, yes, I look like her. But I think I look like my daddy, so.
Okay, well, because you saw him.
Yeah.
But one thing I must say is, if they said that you were a black-eyed Susie and always with laughter, I really, that's what I know you as over the last couple of years that I've known you. And I'm so thankful that you made time to sit on this show and share your heart, your story.
Thank you.
You know, we need a lot of laughter in this world. And especially from the vantage point in which we are as elders. As elders, you know, there's element of going silent with our voice and frowns, and we kind of disappear, you know, but I want to say I'm thankful that you're always moving in the mix everywhere that things are going on, reminding our community, reminding the world that until I disappear from the world as a whole, I'm showing up with that Black Susie smile, huh?
Oh, baby,
because she's representing not just her time, but her mother's too. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
And thank you for saying yes. And audience, I'm going to be flashing some of her pictures because you see, hey, we all came in the world the same way, a little baby, and grow into a beautiful flower. And here's one today.
Thank you, baby.
So, another star is captured for the ages. Do with it what you may. Elevate your lives with the understanding that we all begin our existence in the same manner, birth, and will one day transcend it all. So much is needed from those that have paved our ways to the now. And unselfishly, we must never forget that we stand on the shoulders of those that sacrifice through life's strife to help us to see clearly victory's light. So thank you, Ms. Marlena, for sharing your light with us. Share, subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment, and tune in to the next one. But as I promised you, I'm going to finish with one of my poems from Truth and Light Are One, Poetic Soul Food, my book. If you are friends with me on Instagram, I have a link that you can connect to, and you can finally purchase one. So link me and purchase one of my poetry books, because you know I'm a poet too. And today's poem is called A Foreign Home. That's the one I chose to read for my special sister friend, Ms. Marlena. The sun is shining on my winter-worn face, beckoning me to open up to what will inevitably take place. The birds are singing. The trees are still bare. I see many folks enjoying the coolness of this winter air. Silence is nice. It's medicine for the soul. For when you get quiet, the mysteries of life begin to unfold. All humans desire to be in this serene place, where healing begins, where we surrender everything that we thought we were, and instead remember who we really be. Extension of nature, you and me. America is truly a unique place. Many cultures of our world can be found here. The land is fruitful from ocean to seas, to the deepest rivers, lakes, and valleys. Trees old as time itself. I wish to travel one day and see for myself. It's hard to believe that it's been 50 odd years since my family packed up and migrated here. It's not what it used to be when I was young. A happy, hopeful place for everyone. When a smile could be spotted a mile away. When laughter could be heard from every ear. When children of your culture and children of my culture played dodgeball, tetherball together. And remembering jump rope all day, while hoping that the sun, which allowed for us to have so much fun, would never go away. Now that I'm old and gray, I too, to my astonishment, love for each other has too gone astray. Here I sit on this park bench. Yes, it's sunny pre-spring day. Folks are walking, riding, children at play. The question that I have is to the cultures of far away. Now that you have come to America to stay, remember the word love, the neutralizer of hate. Remember the word happiness, what all humans seek. Remember the word peace, the sum of all true beings. And if for some reason, on your sojourn to find love, happiness, and peace, we meet, please just don't walk by and not speak. Let your eyes recognize I, and I too will see you. America is more than a land. It's the essence. Its essence is the universal hue-man's species. And I too am one.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
So we thank you for allowing us to share our hearts and share our remarkable journeys as African women in the diaspora in America. One born in the Caribbean, another born right here. But we have a job to do.
May I correct you? I am American-born African.
American-born African. Asheo, amen. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for the next show.